Let's now talk about the handshake diplomacy between Trump and Macron. What's that all about? You see, on Monday, Donald Trump and French President Emmanuel Macron met in Washington, D.C. to discuss a possible end to the Russia-Ukraine war. However, it wasn't just their meeting that captured our attention. It was their seemingly awkward handshake that made headlines. Have a look for yourself. White-knuckled grips, knee slaps, and one handshake lasting several seconds. Trump and Macron's so-called death clasp handshakes have gone viral. During their first meeting outside the White House for a press conference on Monday afternoon, the leaders held on to each other reportedly for 12 seconds as they posed for photos. And now have a look at this encounter that happened inside Trump's Oval Office, where the American president placed his hand on Macron's leg, resulting in Macron turning the physical contact into another handshake.
So we were at the Eiffel Tower having dinner with your wonderful wife and with my wonderful wife, and we came out and he started speaking the French deal. And we didn't have an interpreter, and he was going on and on and on, and I was just nodding, yes, yes, yes. And he really sold me out, because I got back the next day and I read the papers. I said, that's not what we said. He's a smart customer, I will tell you that. Sure. Exactly what we agreed.
And sitting next to the French president, Trump mentioned that their Ukrainian counterpart, Volodymyr Zelensky, would visit the White House this week or next to finalize a deal regarding the war-torn country's natural resources. And then came the third, seemingly uncomfortable handshake of the day. During a news conference, it appeared as though Trump oddly twisted Macron's arm before they locked fists and faced the audience. Awkward or not, the apparent camaraderie between the two leaders was evident, as they both agreed for a ceasefire to end the Ukraine war. Macron had arrived in Washington, by the way, with a clear mission. Number one, to preserve and relaunch the personal relationship he formed with Trump during their first term in office. Number two, to reinvigorate the transatlantic alliance, which, according to Europe, had weakened due to the Trump administration's reality check on European matters. In this regard, it's safe to say that Macron seems to have already scored a point by being the first European head of state to visit Trump since his election. Macron successfully got his foot in the door, and as both leaders reaffirmed their commitment to ending the war in Ukraine, Trump also stressed that Europe must take on a greater role in ensuring Ukraine's long-term security, noting Macron's agreement on this issue. Listen in.
It's time to end this bloodletting and restore peace, and I think we're going to do it. We've had some great conversations, including with Russia.
Meanwhile, Macron acknowledged the shift in U.S. leadership as a key opportunity to re-engage with Russia. Listen to this as well.
Have discussion. I think it's useful to have negotiation. I think it's super important to go to the peace. But my strong point was to say, let's try to get something first which can be assessed, checked and verified. And let's be sure that we build sufficient guarantees on the short run. And this is where we are ready to be engaged. As for France, a lot of my European colleagues are ready to be engaged. But we do need this American backup, because this is part of the credibility of the security guarantees. And this is our collective deterrence capacity.
Trump concluded by expressing confidence that a peace deal is within reach, calling it the big one among ongoing diplomatic efforts. All in all, the handshake diplomacy seemed to have worked. But will it translate into actual difference is the question. The coming days will tell us. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.